Welcome to a wonderful edition of Younger Life Live. Good morning. I'm Rick Federici.
And I'm Mary Anthony.
Mary Anthony, happy Monday.
I know. Woo! It is a good Monday. It's a gorgeous day out.
I have to tell you, gorgeous weekend weather-wise.
I love it.
Was it absolutely perfect?
It was. I even got out yesterday and did a couple-mile walk. It was just such a nice day. Well, that really is not far, but it's far when you're dragging all the kids and the dogs.
Yep. How many children do we have with you on the multi-mile walk?
Let me see. There were 7 kids with us and 2 dogs. And one of them was a baby, so she was in the stroller.
Holy cow.
It was nice, though. It's still, a couple of the kids, the littler ones, wanted to ride their bikes, which is, that's a treat all in itself. They're good. They're getting better, but, you're constantly saying, quit swerving, get away from the ditch. You're going to fall off, and don't get in the middle of the road. And, but it's fun. And my 4-year-old, he's not my most athletic. He's the one that is, out of all of my kids, he does not enjoy a lot of physical exercise. So while we're walking, and he kept crying, I cannot take another step.
And what did you say, Mom? What did you say?
Well,
Deal with the young one.
I said, yes, you can. You're fine. And then he wiped out twice, and so he had skinned his knees. And at one point, he said, this is embarrassing to even admit, but he said, I just wish I would faint. He did not want to keep walking. And I said, I laughed so hard. If you faint, I said, I'm taking you to doctor, our pediatrician, and he's going to draw blood to make sure that you're fine. So I would not recommend that you faint.
Don't even go there, young man. It's just funny
that he said, I just cannot keep going. I just wish I would faint. I just found that so funny. So the walk was beautiful, though. It was such a nice day. And so, you just start talking about random things, and then he keeps going. And then as we get closer back home, I said, hey, when we get to the next mailbox, I'll race you home. He's like, oh, I can't. But as we inch up on that mailbox, then he takes off.
You know what I mean?
So,
did he win? Did you let him win?
Of course.
Of course,
and
Mom.
We're a little bit competitive by nature. So, that sometimes we need that little tease of competitiveness to just really drive it home if you need to. The other kids were already all there. They were all fine. It was just me trying to get him.
Did you say
he kept begging me to carry him. He kept begging me, just for a minute. Can you just hold me a minute? Stop pushing the stroller.
How big is he? He's got to be like 30 or 40 pounds. Right. He's got to be up there, Mom.
He's getting tall. He's almost 5, so he's way too big to be carried on a walk. And he made it fine, but it was just gorgeous.
Should have strapped him around your neck.
Well, he actually begged me to ride my bike that has the tag along on it that I got from the bike stop. My kids love that, and he doesn't reach the pedals as well, but he can do it. And he said, can't you just take the tag along? And I said, what are we going to do with the baby? We can't. We had, she's 1. We're pushing her, and you're going to be fine. It was just funny, but it was too nice to not be out.
Agreed.
I mean, we stayed outside doing as much as we could. I mean, it was just nice.
It was so beautiful this weekend around the WIMS listening audience here. Of course, you're listening to WIMS, WIMSradio.com, free TuneIn radio app. Thank you to Younger Life Live executive producers and the LaPorte Hospital for being great partners here at, of course, Younger Life Live. We've got some great guests. We'll talk about all the fun stuff I did between football and seeing the daughter in college at the back end of the show.
Okay.
But it was great. But let's turn to our wonderful guests here, and I love these guys.
I know, and they look so spiffy.
Look at them. I know, compared to
us.
Like,
wow, I came in jeans and a sweater. I feel a little underdressed.
These guys look awesome.
They look fantastic.
All right, so without further ado, let's head right over to camera 3. Thanks so much. You guys introduce yourself right now to our Younger Life Live audience. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Johnny Barch. I'm an officer at the Salvation Army here in Michigan City. I'm a lieutenant.
And I'm Lieutenant Carrie Barch.
Okay, so can I ask you guys a personal question?
Sure.
You guys married?
We are.
Yeah.
Yes!
Awesome.
You guys are so cute.
14 years.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
How many years for you?
17.
17,
Wow.
25.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't it? I love it. I find people are always surprised, when past the 10-year mark, people are always shocked. Do you find the same?
I do, and they're like, wow.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you guys have been married 14 years, and it's like, yeah, it's almost like we've been married, like, so long. It's like we've almost been married longer than
Not married.
when we were not married. Like
We that's us
agree,
too.
that's-
Rick too. They
Yeah.
married very young,
Like,
so
yeah.
I love it.
So it's hard to even remember what it was like not to be married.
Yeah.
Isn't
I
this
love
weird?
it.
All the couples in this room,
That's
that
so
you don't
nice.
find that a lot.
I find it very unique too that you guys are married and both with the Salvation Army, and so I mean, how neat to be able to share that passion too.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions like, so you guys work together? And then I'll hear people say, I could never imagine working with my
I
husband.
hear
Yeah.
that all the time
But
too.
you know what? If I had to work, you have to work. And so if I have to choose who I'm going to work with, I'd rather it be him than anybody else. We know each other and
Sure.
Right.
what kind of makes each other tick. And so you throw somebody else in there that doesn't love you unconditionally. then you
Yeah.
don't know what you're gonna
That
get.
doesn't love you on those bad days that we all have occasionally.
No,
you know,
not you
that's
or I.
nice. I think that is awesome. Honestly, I think that is so cool. Did you guys meet with the Salvation Army?
We did.
You
We-
did.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Quite the love story. for
Let's-
the
Oh,
Salvation
let's
Let's
Army.
hear
hear
it.
this
I
love
love it.
story.
I love it.
Woo! Let's hear
Well,
about it.
I grew up going to the Salvation Army church, and the church, we also had youth programs. And so kind of like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, it was called Sunbeams Explorers. We still have that today. And Johnny's family, they traveled around their evangelist.
We
and
were like
so-
the Partridge Family.
Oh,
I love
how
this.
cool.
He lived in a Greyhound
we
bus.
lived in a
so-
bus, Rick. We lived in a bus.
I like him even more
That's
now.
so neat.
This is great. Really?
Yeah, we lived in a bus and we sang Southern gospel music. So we were
Really?
like, yeah.
And so his family
so we were
came to the
traveling-
Salvation Army that I was attending when we were 15 years old. And in the Salvation Army, there's not, I was a teenager, and there wasn't like the cool thing to be hanging out at the Salvation Army necessarily for teenagers. And so his family came and they were singing gospel music, and he had this big old belt buckle on and everything up on our
Oh my
stage.
God, Johnny.
Yeah. And I said, oh, finally, a cute boy in the Salvation Army. My cousin was sitting next to me. And so that kind of sparked that flame. And then our paths kind of just crossed a few more times when we were 18. And then what happened eventually is I grew up going to a summer camp, and I worked at a summer camp every year as a teenager. And I was supposed to work at this camp when I was 20 years old, and my dad was real sick, and I had to turn down the job. And then I found out that Johnny Barch was working at camp. And so I had planned to go visit my friends out at camp who were working there. And then we ran into each other. And really, the next, kind of, to make a long story short, we started dating. And then the next summer, we got married at the Salvation Army camp.
How
Wow.
neat.
Was it like we started dating in August and then we got married August 17th the
yes.
following year?
Oh,
So-
how neat.
That is awesome.
And I turned
Yeah.
21 in March, and his birthday wasn't until August 14th. And I said, you have to be 21 before we got married. So it was 3 days after his birthday.
That's fantastic.
That is such
I love a
great
romantic story.
So
That's
do
so
I.
cool. I mean, so the Salvation Army is certainly not just a career or a passion. It's literally, it's been how your life is, evolved, honestly. I mean, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And, you say teenagers don't like to hang out at the Salvation Army. Now, the Croc Center, I have to tell you, in South Bend, we've been to.
yeah.
It's Salvation Army Croc Center is amazing. My kids we love to
Mm-hmm.
go there every now and then. It's quite a ways from us, but it's
That's
a
incredible.
nice time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the teenagers should want to hang out.
They
at the
should.
I
Salvation
agree with
Army.
you.
And actually, we do have teenagers who hang out with
Yeah.
us on Tuesday nights.
And
But
we've had some right here. We've had some awesome teenage volunteers, especially the JROTC.
Sure, the junior
Oh,
ROTC is
man.
great.
Those
That-
guys are awesome.
and they've helped us with a couple
Yeah.
events, and so they can hang out with us anytime they want.
How neat.
And to tie that into, and a lot of us know about that, when you're talking about the junior ROTC, what's great about that is they helped out, and we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up in a second, for our Stuff a Bus events at Al's and Barney's,
Yeah.
big partners, not only of LaPorte Hospital, who are our sponsor of this great broadcast, and but they also help out on a lot of things. But these junior ROTC young men and women, it is a part of their schooling. Then they get to evolve into that, very disciplined, very much know where they want to go.
That's nice.
And it's all different ages. That great tie into younger life. It doesn't matter how young or how wise you are in years, but it's all about staying younger, longer, and that attitude on like 10 levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really cool program, and it's fascinating to me too. To find these young people that are so driven and already really, have such a great goal. We
Sure.
talk about goal setting. We've always talked about goal setting here, but I think that is not always easy, especially in the teen years, so that's really neat. So tell us about, first of all, tell us about your uniforms. I love them. They're so nice.
You guys are sharp.
Do you wear them every
Seriously.
day to work?
We have pajamas that look just like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
So,
No, but we should make them.
we have these uniforms that we've been wearing not this exact
Yeah.
uniform
Right.
ever since. Yeah, but we have a couple different uniforms, but they all look the same. But yeah, we wear them pretty much not all the time, but pretty much.
Sure.
Anytime we're going to be anywhere out in public, we try to have on our uniform if it's especially involved with the Salvation Army. And when we went to the Salvation Army has like a college. It's called the Salvation Army College for Officer Training, CFOT. And so it's right downtown in Chicago, right by Wrigleyville. It's like on Halstead and Addison.
Okay.
And so,
yes.
So when we were going to training college, we wore this uniform like every single day from like 7 a.m. until 5:30, and it was every day,
And
every
really-
single day, and it's just, I don't know, it's like we all like kind of are getting trained to keep this thing on and keep it sharp and
to identify us as the Salvation Army. And it
Yeah.
really started with William Booth. William Booth and his wife, Catherine Booth, are the founders of the Salvation Army. And, back in that day and age, the military form, how do I say that?
Well, it's like a kind of a military. It's based off of the English or the military over in England, and so they adopted a uniform. Because originally the Salvation Army was actually called the Christian Mission, and
Really?
and it started in 1865 by it was William and Catherine Booth, and it wasn't until, don't quote me on this, I believe it was 1878 that it became the Salvation Army when William Booth's son, Bramwell, was talking about how he didn't want to be a volunteer in the Christian mission. He wanted to be a regular because he was in an army, Salvation Army, and they thought, wow, that's kind of cool. This is going to stick. And
catchy.
so then they adopted a uniform, and they said they were, fighting a war against, poverty,
Absolutely.
and all that, and sin and all that stuff.
Hold that thought just for a second,
a
because
caller?
we've got a star VIP caller, and it's the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office keeping us updated. Officer Michael Kellums, how are you, buddy?
Good, Rick. How are you this morning?
Fantastic, sir. What is an update? You have something to throw out there to our Younger Life Live audience and WIMS, sir?
I did. I just wanted to let your listeners know that we're working a crash on Johnson Road, just west of Highway 35. So it's right there by that Family Express gas station. There's a two-vehicle accident, and they're calling for 2 ambulances at the scene, and also they have extrication that they're going to need. I would suspect that Johnson Road, just west of 35, is going to be closed for a short period of time while they investigate that crash.
Thank you very much. Probably will be out there, I'm assuming, for a short time, and you will keep us updated, sir, here on WIMS and Younger Life.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Thank you so much for your time today.
You bet. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's
All right.
sad.
Thank you. And
At
gotta
least we
say-
definitely appreciate the update, though. I know
Absolutely. I'm all about that. All right, so let's continue on with that, because I have to tell you what is cool. And I, as a young boy, went to Catholic school, had to wear uniforms nonstop. So I appreciate and I respect the fact that even when I was in Chicago radio and TV for a couple decades plus, I never wore anything but a suit and a tie, because that's what was required of the on-air radio and TV guys and gals. So I was in management and I was always on the air. And then life changed a little bit when I bought WIMS and WHFE, because if I was to go into certain areas of our listening audience area with our partners, they would think I was crazy because I'm too dressed. But I love to be dressed, whether it's with a tie or without a tie. I love it. You guys press those? Because I'm an iron freak. I was brought up in an ironing family. Do you guys iron your stuff or what?
Johnny doesn't.
Johnny doesn't.
But
I'm
that means
sorry.
I do.
Of course.
She irons.
There's always a balance, right?
You
There's
know,
always
it
a
is.
balance.
It is just one thing. I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear, and
Yeah.
so sometimes
Love
that can
it.
be stressful. But really, it does identify us as the Salvation Army. And you know, I'm finding that some people don't recognize what our Salvation Army stands for. Sometimes I get mistaken as a flight attendant.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes the
Spirit
pilot-
Airlines.
Spirit.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know.
And
Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da.
But it's such an honor just to represent the Salvation Army, and for people to look at us as the Salvation Army. It really is a huge honor.
Well, and clearly the Salvation Army makes a huge difference across the world. I mean, you know, you talk about when it began in the 1800s. Clearly they're doing something right. I mean, we're still doing these things. And I think much like a lot of the organizations that Rick and I have interviewed over time, I'm always surprised by the depth of the work that's actually done. You know, we hear different organizations, and you think of maybe a typical, you know, like with Salvation Army, we might think of the kettles, you know, at holiday time, which is absolutely important, but that's certainly only such a tiny part of what the Salvation Army really does. Can you share with us some different programs that you guys have?
Well, I think it's interesting you were talking about just the impact that the Salvation Army has, and how broad it is, and really, you know, it has continued to grow ever since 1865.
Wow.
It's in 127 countries now, and so
Wow.
and it's still growing. I mean, the Salvation Army in the world, you know, in these different countries, it has orphanages, it has schools, it you know, is involved in putting in wells for you know, getting clean water in places where, you know, previously that's been a big challenge, getting water, and so it really is pretty neat. There are things that I'm still learning that the Salvation Army is doing, even as an officer. I'm like, whoa. I didn't...
And right here, what we have at our local Salvation Army is we have a men's shelter 6 months out of the year. Every night we house 20 to 27 men. And then we have a food pantry where people can come for emergency food assistance every 30 days. We have youth programs that we do on Tuesday nights with some music instructions, and we've actually been teaching them archery. It's been a lot of fun.
cool.
That'd be cool
Yeah.
to do.
They've really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Are you any good at that?
Johnny's excellent at it. He was a hunter, and so he's really good.
And you?
Yeah, look at me. I'm okay. That's
I
awesome.
I have, I don't even know the correct terms, but I've shot the bow and arrow a
Yeah.
couple of times now, and the teenagers are better than I am, but I'm learning.
It's fun. I've tried it, and
fun.
just, I mean, you know, regular target with, you know, like backyard kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I even hit the target. Typically it wants to go typically it wants to go in like the straw bale or whatever you're shooting that the target's on. But it is a lot of fun, and it is certainly a not a very common skill anymore that a
Right.
lot of people do. I think it's amazing for your coordination, and you know.
And there's so many
Yeah,
things that
yeah.
go
It's neat.
along with that, just to teach kids to aim for a goal,
Yeah.
to take their time and to perfect those skills.
Mm-hmm.
And just there's so many things that archery teaches life skills.
Yeah.
And so the kids have been enjoying that. We also have a diaper pantry where we
Wow.
people can come. We've had to move it to every other week just to funding sources. But, you know, it's a huge help for parents out there. Diapers are expensive. And so for them to be able to come to the Salvation Army every other week to get 32 diapers helps stretch their budget a little
Certainly.
further. We have disaster services. So if there's a time in a disaster, you know, Hurricane Matthew has come down in the southern parts. And so the Salvation Army is there providing relief for that.
The disaster services are almost like why I became involved with
Really?
the Salvation
Yeah.
Army,
Really?
because I, like I said before, my family, we traveled around doing this music ministry, and we were at a Salvation Army in Fargo, North Dakota back in, I think it was 1998. And so while we were there, there was this massive blizzard, and and we all got snowed in for 3 days. And then when the snow melted, like there was so much snow that it flooded like Fargo and Grand Forks, North Dakota. And I think I was like 15 years old or something. And our family was only going to be there for a couple days, but we wound up staying about 3 weeks and volunteering with the Salvation Army.
Oh,
that's
like
beautiful.
in
How
this,
neat.
Yeah.
and there was this company called Builders Square back in the day that
Sure.
had donated their old store that they were no longer in, had given us the Salvation Army the store to use as a disaster warehouse. So I got to work in there and just see all the things that the Salvation Army did and ride around in what we call a canteen. It's like a big truck,
Yes.
like a bread truck almost, but you can it has a kitchen in there and you feed people out of it. And
Wow.
and so we had a bunch of different canteens, and you'd go around to the different places where people were just really struggling because of the flood, and serve food, coffee, donuts.
Do you remember back
Wow.
as a 15-year-old, because we always talk about this, the way we were both raised, our families, middle-class families, but we were always making a difference and doing all kinds of things to help different families. So I think we have passed that on. At 15, and obviously you were involved, do you remember, you're a very young guy, but do you remember that like it was yesterday, and you still have that passion and feeling for it today? Because obviously you have moved forward and forged forward and look at where you are now. So is that kind of what sticks in your mind, that drives you to as a couple?
It is one of those things that I look back on, and man, I that experience really shaped a lot of who I am and why I do what I do. Yeah, absolutely. I remember just being in this warehouse, and part of the job that I was given was in the lawn and garden section of this old Builders Square. There were all kinds of studs or metal studs sticking up out of the cement, and they wanted to bring all the canteens and all the vehicles in there, and so all these things had to be cut off from the ground or from the floor. And so I went around with a grinder, and I was 15 years old, and I spent a couple days cutting all of those off so that they could drive in there. And that was just so much fun, and it just was like, wow, this is great. I want to be a part of this. I want to do this as much as I can. And I love working with my hands. So
I am so all about, and is that the same kind of thought? Because obviously your family was involved as well, and I think that's great. So
Well, I have my story's a little different than Johnny's. I grew up with the Salvation Army directly helping my family. We were a family in poverty, and so the Salvation Army provided at Christmas time gifts for us. And I remember getting a simple art kit that you can buy at Walmart for $5, but knowing that had come from somebody who donated it from the Salvation Army. I was probably 10 years old. They gave us Christmas presents. And then I talked a little bit about the youth programs that we have. I attended those youth programs. I attended summer camp every year as a kid, and then worked at camp as a teenager. And so the Salvation Army really was a place that kind of set the foundation for me as a young child, and really was a place where I could just feel that sense of belonging, not have to worry about what was going on in my family life. I could kind of escape that, especially going to camp for those week-long camps. And we have that here at our Salvation Army in Michigan City. We send kids to our camp in Grand Rapids every summer.
I think
free
that's
of
great.
charge.
Wow. I was going to say, I think a lot of families might not be aware of that. Might not be aware that you guys even do that. And I mean, locally, you hear that on the big, scale across the nation, but even right here. So I think that's fantastic. What if a family is interested in finding out more about that, or how do they apply to go to camp, or how do they do that?
Well, we'll have those applications come out in May.
Right.
So if they're interested in summer camp in particular, we'll have information on our Facebook page as the time gets closer. But if anyone has any questions about what we do, when we do things, they are welcome just to stop in anytime that our office is open. They can give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer those questions.
all right, I want to throw this out there because Candace
We just
Silvas
had a
is
new
joining us.
friend. Really an old friend just joining us.
Say hi to everybody.
Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
back. Great to see you. How's everything going there? Pretty good?
It's always an adventure.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind, and chat a little bit about
Kind of
some
how
of the other
you,
stuff.
yeah, I'm curious to know how you tie into the Salvation Army. And I mean, for these two, it's been obviously a thread throughout their whole life. You know, is it the
Right.
same for you?
Well, I'm actually the community resource coordinator at the Michigan City Salvation Army. I've worked there for close to 2 years. And ironically, honest to God, the only reason I'm working at the Salvation Army is because when I was in my interview, Lieutenant Bill Bruto, who was the commander of the Salvation Army right now, is, telling me this story about how he had a little boy who had never been out of Michigan City in his entire life. And he had this little boy up at camp, and Bill's in a speedboat out in the lake, and the little boy's in a tube in the back of the boat. And Bill asks the little boy, "What do you think your friends are doing right now?" And that little boy goes, "Not this, go!" And that story right there is why I'm working at the Salvation Army, because that is a memory that that little boy is going to take with him for his entire life. And for a child who is limited possibly by their circumstances in life, that is an experience that will mold him and change him and stay with him. And I'm very passionate about the youth in our community. And so that's why I'm here. Additionally, I had my child my oldest son when I was 16 years old. So I was a very young, struggling single parent. My husband and I got married when I was young. We had another child. So at one point, we were 2 working parents with 3 children between us. Both of us were attending college full time. We were unable to make ends meet, and who came in and helped us out? The Michigan City Salvation Army kept our electric on. When my daughter was 1 year old, how did we get Christmas presents for her and our other 2 children? The Salvation Army.
Wow.
So it's that feeling of almost moral obligation, because I've been in those circumstances and I've been in that situation and I've been in these people's shoes. So being able to finally be at a point in my life where I can make a contribution and give back and make as meaningful of an impact in others' lives is why I'm with the Salvation Army today.
Mary,
that's
when we
moving.
were doing stuff with us at the Owls
Yeah.
in Michigan City and surrounding areas, Candace and the crew, everybody in this room, we were at the Owls up on Franklin in Michigan City, and it's beautiful because each and every year you get these unbelievable stories, just like Candace's story, and there were literally people weeping
Yeah.
at the checkout counter in a different place in life right now, as these guys were all on the air, we're bonding, having fun, stuff in the bags, people doing vouchers, and these people were saying that exact thing. The Salvation Army is just so unbelievable.
I think it's
It really
amazing.
is.
I think it's amazing. And I think what's unique, especially about for you 3, is you can relate to people in that situation in such a different way. I think it is life changing. It is something that it's hard to ask for help for, anyone. It's hard to
Absolutely.
be, to find yourself in a situation, but to know that there is a place you can turn for help that is judgment free and is going to do everything they can to at least guide you in the right direction
Right.
to someone who can, help out is just amazing. I think that it's beautiful, and I can understand. I think that sense of gratitude would be something you carry with you. I imagine that is probably why you're great at your job and why you are so focused to stay there. I think that is beautiful, beautiful story.
I love the young, hip energy
Yeah.
in this room, and I mean that with the utmost respect. I've worked with a lot of great people in the Salvation Army, go back years and years, and it's funny because you brought up something in the beginning for my career, those that know of me, Chicago radio and TV for a couple decades plus. Every year for years, we as on-air guys, radio, TV, would on the different corners for years, and still to this day, were the celebrity bell ringers, and there
Yeah.
were thousands of people that would show up to help out. And that, even in coming here and buying the radio stations and stuff, it took it to a cool, another local level, because now you're seeing hundreds and hundreds of families, not only weekly, but monthly, which if you guys want to jump on this, I want to talk about how many families just here in the LaPorte County, Indiana area, because obviously we're streaming around the world, get helped by the Salvation Army. Does someone want to jump on that? Any of you guys?
Approximately 33% of the Michigan City population is assisted in the Salvation Army in one way or another, through it be our Christmas assistance, NIPSCO, Diaper Bank, men's shelter, or even our after-school sports programs. The Salvation Army in Michigan City sponsored Knapp and Marsh Elementary School when the school sports programs were cut due to the referendum. So even with that, I mean, the Michigan City, or the Salvation Army, excuse me, in general, used to be emergency services, and we've branched off so much more than that.
I mean, certainly these are not, can be emergency services, but I mean, there's so much more. This is our lives. These are our communities. I think that is what just floors me all the times. I'm constantly surprised and taken back. It makes me think, wow, what more can we do? What more can I have the kids do to learn by example and instill that little bit of passion in them to help out others. I think that's so important too. Can you tell us some things that we can all do that maybe we don't have regular contact with Salvation Army?
Yes, absolutely.
But what can we do?
There are things going on every day of the year, but what we're headed into is Christmas, and it's only October. But at the Salvation Army, we are already starting to think about Christmas, plan for Christmas. And really our goal this year is because the community is so supportive, we really would like to see an increase in our volunteers with our bell ringing. We depend upon that money that is raised at Christmas time to help fund what we do all year round. And so we would like to kind of direct people who are looking to volunteer to consider standing at a kettle site. We have 2-hour shifts, so they could sign up for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, up to 8 hours. And we are really hoping that maybe some local businesses, some groups, school groups, Cub Scouts, that sort of thing would consider adopting a kettle site where they would say, okay, I will take the Alzon Franklin and we will make sure that we staff that kettle for that day during the hours that you're there from 10 to 6. And so we are hoping that people who are interested in volunteering would be willing not only to consider giving financially, but of their time and standing there and encouraging their friends and family to come by and see them at the kettle site.
I would like to throw this out there. I think too, local church organizations
Absolutely.
and folks like this, because let's be like non-denominational about this. We all need help, and let's go with making a difference in the lives of others.
Well, it's for the betterment of our community. I think that's never that it certainly does not have to do with any religion
or your belief
over another, your belief or whatever it is. It's the betterment of our community, and that's what's important. And it is not just a church group's job or even one business job to handle it, or even just the Salvation Army. It takes all of us to work together and we're a big county, really. I mean, LaPorte County is a big county, so it definitely takes a lot of people. I think that we're a very supportive community. Like you said, I think there probably is a lot of support. I feel like we do well at that, but that doesn't stop. And I think that it is easy to holiday season. It kind of makes everyone feel that, but then it kind of goes away for a little while. And I'm sure the Salvation Army feels that as well.
Yes, we do.
That's in a lot of the
Here's what
food
I'd like to
banks
throw
and
out there.
stuff. I know.
Here's the challenge from the Younger Life Live crew, Mary Anthony and Rick Federici. Any business or organization that comes aboard from this point forward, here's number 2, here's the challenge, that comes aboard between now and the new year, Mary and I will donate as a part of Younger Life Live a 10-minute segment to them worth a lot of money to showcase their business in whatever way they would like. But I want the spin on making a difference, and you got to time the Salvation Army at least a little bit of that time. In other words, so let's get out there. So I was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout. I was an altar boy. I was that kid that was involved with a lot of stuff. Terrible in sports, but played sports. And I love music and theater and the arts. But you know what I'm saying? Because I look at the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Brownies. Then there's all kinds of little levels now to these scouts that are all these different levels, but they all need badges. They all get these communication badges. We've actually held ceremonies live on the air where they get to come in and do a tour of the radio and TV facility. Then they get them on the air. Then they produce a commercial or an ad. And then we present them live with their badge. Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
So let's bring these groups in. Anybody that's, religious education classes, confirmation classes, let's do is anybody that needs hours for volunteering. Can't tell you how many, events we've done in the last month where we get tons of young people in and they're like, Mr. Rick, they call up, I have to sign off. They're with designated chaperones for the evening and they're there for 2 hours, but then they get credit. So do we need that? Is that cool with all you guys?
Absolutely.
I got all you guys
Awesome.
here, so.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
they can contact our community or our office manager. Her name is Crystal Parker. Her phone number is 219-874-6885, and her extension is 223.
And we are working on getting an online site where you can register to volunteer. It's not up yet, but it's called ringbells.org, and we will post that on our Facebook page. And it's real simple. You just put your information in there, basic information, your name, phone number, email address, and you can actually pick the site where you will ring and the times that you want to sign up for. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have that up and running. But ringbells.org, be looking for that soon.
Is that going to be Michigan City only, or is
Well,
that LaPorte County?
Actually, I'm not sure what LaPorte is doing, but Salvation Armies across the country can use this site. We used it in Kansas, and so it'll be the first time using it here in Michigan City, but it's very user-friendly.
Yeah. I like you young people.
I,
Look
um,
at you bringing it to the table.
I
love
saw
this.
on the website some of the 2015 Michigan City holiday impact statements, that were on there. I think this is crazy. So I want to point out some of these
Sure,
things.
please.
That 6,000 people, this is last year, 2015, from Michigan City were served for Christmas through food, toys, clothes, diapers, and toiletry items. 6,000.
Yes.
That's crazy. 4,000 individuals were served with either a Thanksgiving food basket or a hot meal. 4,000.
Yeah. That's
I
what I'm
mean, we're
saying.
talking just last holiday season. There's more. 7,371 hot meals were served in the months of November and December.
Alone.
That's insane.
Alone.
I mean, and the effort that's put into that, and the donations that have to come from that. How is the food bank looking? The food pantry right now. What about the diaper bank?
And it's even, if you think about the hot meals served,
Yeah.
like you're talking about that with our men's shelter that we have, about
Certainly.
20 to 27 men a night from April 15th through October 15th. And every night they're served a hot meal too.
Wow.
So that, really adds up.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of, food that's going out. And I especially like talking about that. Want to thank the different businesses that give us food to, give to,
Please
serve.
mention.
So we'll
And
have
it
a
would
plug
be-
for
Yeah.
Panera.
Panera, they
donate-
give us bake. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll
I
tag
like to
team
see how
together.
people are.
Perfect
Yeah.
team.
Wow.
Panera donates their baked goods to us, so we pick up every Thursday morning, and that is used for our programs. Also, Chipotle donates on a weekly basis. Starbucks.
Wow.
Thank you, Starbucks.
Yes,
Look at- put it in the
yes.
camera,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there,
that's
people.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice
There
latte.
we go.
Perfect this
So-
time of year.
Bunny Bread Company in LaPorte. And King Gyros, they've been very faithful for our men's shelter. They donate food for them every Wednesday night. And so that's another area that people can give. You asked how people can give.
Domino's
Yes.
Pizza.
Domino's,
Oh,
yes.
man,
they
they've
actually are
been-
going to be hosting an event for our youth
Great.
programs on November 1st. Just amazing. I had
Where
simply
is that
asked,
going to be at?
that is at the Domino's on Franklin.
Okay, so that's in Michigan City,
Michigan
Indiana.
City, Indiana. Their manager, Carrie, just is awesome and is so willing to help us out whenever we need. And so I was simply just inquiring, can we take our kids for the youth programs there to eat pizza in Domino's?
Yeah.
And she said, why don't we have them make their own pizza? So
how
on
cool.
Tuesday, November 1st, the kids in our youth program are going to be able to go and make their own individual pizza.
How neat.
Yeah.
That, you talk about memories, that's
Yes.
fun. And that's something
Candace,
you
I
don't
was just
typically
going to
get
say,
to
I'd
do.
love to, because you have been through it, from a historical journey perspective. You
Right.
have made it your life. You're young and hip. You're a mom. You're so totally involved with the community. Talk about how that makes you feel, because that's a great spin in to Mary.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
this type of thing when these guys are bringing this up.
I will continue saying this. I've said it hundreds of times, but I am continually overwhelmed and humbled by the support of our community when asked and who just volunteer. Also, the instructional assistant union. I don't want to mess up their name.
Sure, no problem.
The Union of Michigan City, they all were making meals once a week for our men's shelter and bringing that in. The 4,000 hot meals or the 4,000 meals for Thanksgiving, that's in part thanks to the Michigan City Fire Department Union, who donates and brings in the boxed dinners, and Central States Manufacturing. They also pledged $2,000 or $3,000 last year. I think they're doing $3,000 this year to get those boxes put together. And what's even better is Central States, they will donate this food, donate the money for it, and then they will bring their own volunteers in to box up the meals and to pass it out, because they like to also be a part of that. You know, when people come in and they pick up their meals, they like to be a part of that and have that impact on them. So hopefully they will then go back out into their community and they will feel touched like I am and want to help as well.
Good karma, good vibe. God
That's
bless
right.
America. God bless all the
Yeah.
volunteers.
Can I ask, do your children, are they involved at all?
Absolutely. My son rang the bells for the Salvation Army last year. My daughter and her best friend, they actually had bragging rights for almost a year because they had raised the most amount of money in a kettle in such a short period of time. But they were little and they're really adorable.
Cute,
and they were
yeah.
singing. At
Yeah,
potluck
yeah, yeah.
parties,
Right?
So
Well, we're all
that's
about it.
right.
It's good for them to feel like they're
Great
doing
for
what
the
they
soul.
can.
Yes.
You know,
And
do
they
the
had
two of you have children?
fun.
Yeah, we have 3 daughters, and they're very much a part of everything that we do. It is really a family ministry. So we have 11, 9, and 3.
Oh, yeah. So
Beautiful.
crazy in your house, too. Then.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
but
We're all crazy.
Yeah, 3 girls.
Yeah, we
so
are all
Johnny's
crazy,
kind of
that's for
spoiled.
certain.
He has all these women taking care of him. But
Right.
You know what? I'm a dad of 2 daughters, and we all know we love our sons and daughters, but there's that real cool groove, that special place where it's like, woo!
daddies and little girls.
Of
yes.
course.
Yeah, they're even starting to be like, Dad, what are you eating? Why are you eating that?
Yeah,
That's
oh,
not-
I get that all the time. Right, at 18 and
That's not
22.
good for you.
Yeah,
They
that's
take care
exactly
of
right.
them.
It's so
There's
There's
cute.
cholesterol.
That's so
great.
cute. That
You
is
know,
so cute.
One of the tines I want to throw out there too, while we're here with Younger Life Live, of course, brought to you by the LaPorta Hospital. We thank them so much for their great partnership and all the great folks that make this happen. Remember, YouTube, you can go to youtube.com and it's Younger Life, together as a word, open space, live, and you can get any of the episodes, past, present, even this one. It's not just right now. It is all year we need help. And I don't mean to be repetitive, but I see it firsthand as a small business guy. I see it as a middle class guy. You see it and you hear it from the folks in the community pillars right here in this room, parents, business professionals, people trying to make a difference. But we're trying to educate you because we need help year round. Am I right on that, you guys? Seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
The need is year round, absolutely.
And you know, Johnny talked a little bit about how the Salvation Army is in 127 countries. And as a local Salvation Army, we pledge money to support those Salvation Armies across the world. And so actually I wanted to talk about real quick, we have a fundraiser just that will go specifically for world services to help one of those Salvation Armies in another country. And October 28th, we have tickets, a spaghetti dinner, partnering with Fazoli's. The tickets for adults are $10 and for kids $6. So instead of going out to a restaurant that night on a Friday night, please come to the Salvation Army. You can get tickets in advance and we will accept you. We'll have plenty of food. If you want to just come on October 28th without a ticket, you can get one
There
right
are
at the
even
door.
Door prizes, aren't there?
Door prizes
Oh.
every
Yeah.
hour, and we will be having a bake sale and a craft sale. So we'd love for you come, and we'll be there. If you have questions, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to meet you. October 28th, Friday night, 5 to 7.
It's at 1201 South Franklin Street at our
Okay.
Salvation
That's
Army.
a great idea.
Oh, that's an awesome
A lot
idea.
of other things, and then you know, I met. Well, I didn't meet. I'm sorry. Somebody called me asking if they could host, if we could host a vendor event. So a young lady called. We have a vendor event on November 3rd. I don't have my calendar in front of me. This Saturday, the
does.
first Saturday in November, we'll have Pampered Chef, Scentsy, Jamberry. They're going to be having different vendors there, and they are donating 10% of their proceeds back to the Salvation Army. And this was all initiated by somebody who at one point received help in her life from the Salvation Army and wanted to give back. And so again, I'm just
beautiful.
overwhelmed and amazed at how much the Salvation Army impacts others. And I'm still learning that even, today after doing this for 4 years. And we're new to the community here and still getting to know the community, meet people in local businesses and charities. And, we'd love to partner with you. It's been kind of a whirlwind for 3 months and we are still learning, but feel free to give us a call, get in touch with us. We'd love to get to know you and work with you.
I think that's fantastic.
I was just going to say this too, if you don't mind. Is it been a cool 3-month journey so far? Because you guys, we have done a lot of cool stuff together. You guys are fun. I mean, you guys having fun?
Man,
a little
we loved
different?
it.
Yeah,
It's
we
so
love
great
this.
here.
I feel like we've lived here longer than 3 months. Just so welcomed by the community, by the people in the Salvation Army. Candace, our staff, we have a great staff. Candace,
Yes, we do.
Candace, Crystal, Caitlin, Jeremy, Diane, just a big shout out. We couldn't do what we do without our staff. I mean, we're small, but we're mighty. So it's just been a wonderful experience so far.
I wanted to ask about the vendor fair. I think that's a really cool idea and a great idea as whomever the person that called, on their part. That's a really good idea. Is there still room for people to, want
I
a
believe
vendor
so.
to be able to
The
get
thing
in?
is, it's kind of, I've had to be very hands off. I don't
kinda
even have
nice.
to do anything for it. It's great. But her name is Abby Sellers. I can get you in touch with her if you would like to get a table. Or again, you can just contact us through our Facebook page. We'll get you in touch or give us a call on the phone. We'll make sure.
So if someone's interested, they should contact you.
Yes, if
guys
you
at the
are
Salvation
a
Army, you could
pampered
put them-
chef, a consultant, or a Sensi, I don't even know all 31. I don't even know all the different.
Yeah. There's lots of little craft vendors. The reason I asked that specifically, there's a lot of little, very creative people in our community.
Absolutely.
And, they sell these little
And I
cool
believe
things that
the
are different
charge-
fairs. That's cool.
I believe the charge is $20 to rent a table.
Correct. Then that $20 is coming back to the Michigan City Salvation Army.
Okay.
And then they are asking that a small portion of whatever they make that day comes back to the Salvation Army as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think people are always looking for craft fairs and different things like that. So I know.
So
that's
come to the
really
Salvation
cool.
Army.
Yes.
I say do this as well.
Love
If
that
you have
idea.
the $20, why don't you just pony up and give the $20 if you can't make the event?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that $20 will also help as well.
Oh,
and again,
certainly.
anybody that jumps aboard, we promised you guys, because we've done some really cool things together. And at the last event, we threw out there what we're going to do to help the Salvation Army in addition to some of the on-air stuff. But anybody that comes aboard in the next year, as we were working together with you guys, feel free, as a part of Younger Life Live and WIMS, our radio station, and Girard Media as a whole, we would be more than happy to make sure that everybody in this community that listens to this radio station on air, online, or watches it via Younger Life will know that they're making a difference. And quite honestly, it's a great way to showcase, to tell your family, your organization, and let's challenge the businesses out there. Listen, I get it. We're a small business here, and it's tough for a lot of people on a lot of levels with today's unique economy. I'll just say unique and stuff going on. But we can all make a difference. Talk to your staff at your meetings, and maybe you can do your own small food drives.
Even
Get-
a little, yeah. So I was
just
just say,
little
little food
stuff
drive.
like this.
What
Well,
if we
and-
do? What if people want to donate food for the pantry or diapers?
Absolutely.
Is there anything specific they need to know when they're picking them up, and where do we bring
No,
them?
I would say though, if you are looking to donate food, we could actually use your financial contribution probably in a larger capacity, because
Okay.
we have. We are able to buy directly from the food bank, where we can get food for 18 cents a pound. And so that would stretch.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
The Exchange Club here in Michigan City gave us $1,000 on the Stuff a Bus Day.
Yes.
And it's amazing that $1,000 will actually purchase about 5,500 pounds of food.
Wow.
And
Is that incredible?
So that, someone wanting to donate food, I think, that is awesome if they were to take that, the money that they would spend, and just like Carrie was saying, give it to the Salvation Army, because we can really stretch that
Maximize
dollar.
it. But you know what? We
out.
would also, we
course
we
we'll
love
take the
people
food,
that actually
you know.
bring the food and do their food drives. We accept
Yeah.
those donations. We have an alley. There's a little doorbell that you just buzz, and somebody will come and meet you there and help you unload your car those donations.
Well, and even I was contacted by a teacher at Edgewood Elementary School in Michigan City, and they did a food drive for us. So on Thursday after school this week, the Honor Society is actually going to take a little field trip to the Salvation Army to drop off their donations.
Fantastic.
To kind of get a tour, just get a chance to interact with us, to talk with us, to help unload the food. So that way it's even more of an interesting experience for the kids, because then it's not just them donating, it's them being able to see in a small
There's
way
more
exactly
impact.
what their donation is going towards.
You know, with diapers, are there sizes specifically that you guys are in need of, or just any diaper?
Yeah, we actually we ran out of size 4, 5, and 6 last week. And so we are ordering more. And again, we can get that from the food banks
Oh, okay.
for
We can get
A fraction
a
of the
box of
cost.
125 diapers. That's normally $30, $40 plus dollars in the store for $5 from the
Wow. Oh yeah, that's
$5.
Oh my gosh.
that
it's
is
amazing.
nuts.
I would. I mean, and if you want your money, I'm sure Candace and our group here, if you wanted it to go specifically towards diapers, I mean, that's a jaw-dropping.
That
one.
is. I
Like,
mean,
here's
knowing
20 bucks, go get some diapers.
And
How
if
much
you
diapers
designate
are-
that on your check, your donation, we will make sure that money
That
goes
is
strictly
phenomenal.
for
Earmark
that.
it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We actually bought the food bank out of their diapers
Really?
a couple times already this year. So we're anxiously waiting for them to restock in their 4s, 5s, and 6s, because those larger sizes just
Here's
don't
what's
last
going to
as long.
happen. They're going to see you guys. Here they come.
They
Yeah.
do. I think they're scared of us.
Yeah, they probably are. That's okay though. That's fantastic, and that really does speak of
We've been able
what's
to
needed here.
distribute over $1 million diapers in
Yeah.
Michigan City.
That's
so
awesome.
far in the last year.
Holy cow.
So imagine, and I mean that's a huge help, because that's not something low income families can buy with their food stamps.
Right.
And it's one of those things you cannot go without.
Certainly, it's a need. I mean, there's it's a must. There's no
Agreed.
getting around that. So
We got about a minute left. Let's do some
amazing.
final thoughts. Mary Anthony, Rick Federici, Younger Life Live, of course, Monday through Friday, 9 a to 10 a Central. Also up on YouTube. I'm going to go around the room. Why don't you guys give a final thought on today's program?
I definitely wanted to thank you so much for what you guys have given to us.
Sure.
That $5,000 in-kind donation from WIMS is incredible.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that, and so I just didn't want to let that go on.
No
So
problem.
Thank you so
You don't need to
much.
say that. It's worth every penny. And God bless. We will help out anyway here on WIMS and Younger Life. Thoughts?
I just want to thank the community really just for welcoming us and just for the support. I mean, really, the monetary donations that people give, the time, just the partnering together. We are just so thankful to be a part of this community and look forward to just working in the community for as long as that we're here.
Candace?
And I would echo those sentiments. It's so nice to be involved in a community with such caring and compassionate individuals. And being in the nonprofit sector, I see individuals every single day who are committed to the betterment of our community. And it's very humbling. So, and you are included in that.
fantastic.
Thank you.
You rock. On behalf of us all at Younger Life, we'd like to thank you all for joining us. A great show, Mary.
Oh, I know.
Love it.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
know.
puts a
It's
smile on my
amazing.
face.
It does. Me too. It just gets the wheels turning. Thinking, okay, what can we do? What can I go home and get the kids excited
Absolutely.
about?
Organizations. That's right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Organizations, church groups, anybody, if you guys need some more information, direct link off of WIMSradio.com. We'll be looking for ringbells.org, which we'll have up on our timeline as well. Facebook, Twitter, these guys are awesome. Help make a difference in your community. In the meantime, God bless America and our veterans. I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony. Thanks.
Thank you.
AM 1420, WIMS, Michigan City, a Girard Media Company station.